Today on the channel, the continuing saga continues with That's So Hard to Say Goodbye, part 27.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of It's So Hard to Say Goodbye. And this one, episode number 27. Can you believe we've had 27 of these videos over the last 4 years, whatever it's been since the first one here? But we're back with a new edition, number 27 today. And I'm going to give you a little bit of how the sausage is made, a little bit behind the scenes of this YouTube channel, I guess is what we'll do. But this week I am on vacation from my day job. At least I'm trying to be. I'm working a lot of hours of that day job lately. It's been busier than ever before. Day job always getting in the way of a good time, I guess. But it is very stressful and there's a lot going on. Check out episode 59 of the podcast for some of that. Of course, The Kyle Peterson Show, wherever podcasts are found, videocast on YouTube. I dive into a little of the headaches as of lately as I'm filming this. But I've been very busy and I haven't had the time to dedicate to the collection like I normally would. Now, I'm very consistent. Consistency is key in whatever you do in life. There's a pro tip for you. I do 4 videos every single day between both my YouTube channels. Every single day there's 4 videos, and we've been doing that for like 4+ years at this point. So I'm very consistent. I don't miss an upload. I don't miss a video. I pride myself on that, showing up and always being consistent. I might not be the smartest guy in my day job. I might not be the mathematician, but I will show up every single day. I will get the job done. And that's how I usually do my life on everything I do. That being said, my day job has to come first, as you can imagine. I have to put a lot of hours in every single week. A lot of weeks I work 60-hour work weeks. Yes, 60 hours on top of all of this. So imagine, if you ever say you don't have time for something, just think of your old buddy Kyle. I find time, except I haven't found time for this, unfortunately, for the last 6 months or so. Basically back to November timeframe, maybe early November timeframe. Now, a little bit of peek behind the curtains here. When I do an unboxing video, I unbox it on the camera. We do all this kind of thing. And when I'm done, I put that figure in like a monster flat. I use these flats here, put the figure with the accessories in there. I carry it over to the photo studio where I take all the glamour shots and stuff. And then I edit the videos after that. But I normally would bag up the accessories and put the figure wherever it goes. And you're probably seeing some holes right here, and we'll get into that. But I'll carry it over and I'll put it wherever the figure needs to go. Rinse and repeat, move on from that. However, like I said, my day job has been so busy, it's been harder and harder to find hours in the day. There's only 24 of them. I wish they could get 48 in one day, and I try to maximize my minutes every single day. But I'm running out of runway, running out of real estate between the day job, and then you got to eat dinner, you got to eat meals, you got to hang out with your family, I guess. You got to entertain Todd on the couch, take the dogs for walks, all that kind of stuff. And then you hopefully will sleep a couple hours every night, maybe 4 hours a night, whatever it may take. And there's not a ton of extra time. And what unfortunately the easiest thing is not to skip the YouTube videos, it's to not put the stuff away right away. Now, if you're doing 4 videos every day, that's not just necessarily 4 figures, that could be 8 figures in a day, whatever it may be, depending on the situation. You get all these figures that start piling up on these flats, and they need to be put away. To compound the complications I'm having right now, this is quite the peek behind the tent. You see it right here. I have not really moved my detolfs around in like 3+ years, maybe 4 years at this point, because I've had a lot of room to grow and I've set these up. We know some of these characters, Roman Reigns, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, we know they're going to get a lot of figures. So you give them a little extra space in your detolfs. Well, the time has finally come where the bloodline, Roman Reigns, Jey Usos of the world, Seth Rollins of the world, more figures. They've finally maxed out their cubes in my detolf. So not necessarily the worst thing. I have other detolf cubes I can move stuff. I still got room for a couple of years to grow within my 20+ detolfs at this point. But the problem is I get landlocked. Roman Reigns of the bloodline, they're landlocked up here. There's nowhere to go. Well, you're going to have to kick Seth Rollins or somebody out of this cube so you can expand over. You move Seth Rollins somewhere else. Well, you want to keep Seth Rollins over here. You don't want to put him with the Attitude Era stuff. So it becomes a game of musical cubes on the detolf, and that's what I've been doing this week. Cleaning, moving things around. Now, a lot of people are saying, Kyle, it's perfect time to clean the detolfs. I'll tell you what, It doesn't take much to clean these things. A lot of people think, how is it not dusty down here? What's going on? Well, it's in the basement. I have a very good HVAC system. I don't have a lot of issues. There's no sunlight down here, so there's not really any dust. I have 2 paper towels. I have put glass cleaner on them. I folded it over, and I've done about 7 Detolf cases, fully cleaned them just with those 2 paper towels. That tells you how little amount of dust is in there. But I have been cleaning, moving things around, readjusting the shelves, and it's just mind-numbing, as the other day I spent from 8:30 in the morning till 2 a.m. I basically worked all the way straight in between phone calls from work and emails and stuff on my phone. And I feel like I've done nothing. My wife said, did you really do anything? I'm like, I did a lot, but it doesn't look like I did a lot. And I think a lot of collectors with big collections can maybe relate to some of that. And I showed a video on my Instagram recently, and I'll probably play some of it in here, where I have a bunch of stuff taken down and I'm moving around. It's just an absolute disaster. And I feel like I'm in over my head, and time's a ticking, Kyle. You only got 4 days off this week. I worked Monday because I can't take Mondays off. It's a busy day. So I'm like, I only got, as I'm filming right now, I got 2 days to get all this done. And oh, by the way, you still got to edit videos. You still got to film videos, and that, basically backing yourself into a corner. But I never slow down. I never surrender, like a young Saxon, Todd McFarlane. Exactly. Biff Byford, you know what's up. You know what's up over there. So I'm just powering through here, powering through. And when you're rearranging your collection, you're doing stuff, that brings us to It's So Hard to Say Goodbye, part 27 here. Now, I'm not going to be able to finish all this week. I'm hoping I can at least get the Mattel stuff all done, maybe the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. Then I got to combat the Classic Superstars room, the Jakks Ruthless Aggression room, and then the McFarlane G.I. Joe He-Man room. So I got a couple of more vacations I'm going to need to try to figure out to take to try to get this all done. We'll get it done. We always do. But that leads us today to the So Hard to Say Goodbye. You could almost call this Spring Cleaning Edition. And when you're diving deep into your collection, you're moving things around. If you're like me, you get some extras every once in a while. You know, that Billy Gunn $6.98 at Target Legends? Maybe I'll get that. I might use it for another day. You get a lot of that stuff that kind of builds up on you over the years. And I haven't done a deep clean out of my extra pile. I have kind of a cubby back in my furnace room, we'll call it. There's a whole shelf full of boxes of stuff. A lot of long game unboxing stuff. And I was looking through that. I'm like, man, there's a lot of stuff I need to unbox on the channel from 5 years ago. I don't know if anybody will care about it, but I'm like, I want these in my collection. I got to dive into that. But I also saw stuff that's been back there. I don't need this anymore. And oh, I got these stack of doubles. I got all this going on. And I looked at it. I said, do I really need this? And a lot of that stuff I already have loose. I was like, why do I have this on card? Perfect example. So here's what I'm getting rid of. Part is So Hard to Say Goodbye. And all this is going to our good friends, jaystoysandgames.com. Use code Kyle, save yourself 15%. I am going to send that. They have 3 retail stores to sell stuff at. You know, I'll get store credit for this and I'll just move on, because I could sell this on eBay. I could do that kind of stuff. But let's be honest, is Adam Hangman Page that I got for $2.99, I got a stack of them at Ross with the Western shirt. Am I going to really ever sell those on eBay? It'll sit there for 2 years till somebody finally buys it for $5. It's not worth it. I'll give it to Jay's. They'll sell it for $8. Bada bing, bada boom. But I have a ton of extra AEW. For a time, I was a Double Up member on their ringside exclusives. I bailed on that a couple of years ago, but I still have some of that stuff poking around. I also bought some extra stuff at the ringside sale at the end of last year, their Christmas sale, like the Acclaimed 3-pack. Why did I buy this? I'm not a huge Acclaimed fan. I respect the Acclaimed, but do I really need this in the collection? No, I don't need an extra one of those. I had 3 of the All-In Stings. Why did I buy 3 of these? What was my plan for this exactly? So there's a lot of that. I had some stuff from McFarlane. I had some extras there. Why did I get this? I had the new Map Maniacs. I had the Major Players, Powers of Pain, and the Hardy Boys. Why? I accidentally ordered them twice. So that's just sitting around. So I'm like, you know what? I can get rid of a bunch of this stuff. Just move on, move away from it. And you got to do some spring cleaning every once in a while. Now, not a whole lot of loose stuff. I have a box of 12 double loose figures that I said I'll get rid of. That's the beautiful thing with Jay's. They have all this room. They have cases to sell loose figures, mint figures, you name it there. So I got some of that stuff cleaned out. I had some extra turtle stuff, like Playmates turtles. One thing I had was the Technodrome and the turtle pizza thrower. I never unboxed those. I'm like, I really don't have room for these. I like the Playmates, but I don't really have room for a big display stuff. I have one shelf that's for Playmates. That's all it's going to get. I'm not going to dictate a bunch of room for the Technodrome. It's not going to do that kind of stuff. So some of that kind of things going on. Some of the the Big Rig, Steve Austin Big Rig. Why do I have 2 of these? They're kind of the same thing. I don't need both of these in my collection. So what it ended up being is a lot of doubles, a lot of stuff I've had forever that obviously isn't important enough for me to unbox on the channel that I just haven't got around to. Say, Kyle, it's time to cut your loss. And that's what you got to do. When you're spring cleaning, you're rearranging your collection, you're going to recapture some magic with some figures. I'll tell you what, I was looking at some of the grapplers and gimmicks figures from way back in the day, like that first Godfather, to some of the stuff we're getting now. Kind of a trip down memory lane. I'm like, man, this line has really grown, and this is really constant learning, constant improvement. It's made you appreciate some figures, going through some of these guys, some of these forgotten elites you kind of forgot about, and then looking at stuff saying, you know, this would be a good vault release. I could see this getting re-released in the future. Just kind of fun to enjoy and be immersed in your collection at a little deeper level when you're rearranging and moving stuff instead of just standing there looking at it. Oh, it looks good today. But when you're actually getting your hands on it to move it to a shelf, you're dissecting it a little bit more. And it gives you appreciation. But on the flip side, some of the stuff you're like, I don't appreciate this as much anymore. And it's time for this to move on. It can go to somebody else's collection. Got to get done with all of this. And it's nice to have a local toy store, something like that you can dump everything to, get your payout, get off, and move on from it fairly quick. So that's kind of where I'm at right here with So Hard to Say Goodbye, part 27. A lot of just onesie twosies, things that I've just accumulated over the last couple of years that I really have no reason to have, especially if I already have them loose. Do I really need it mint on card? Probably not. And that's what I've been moving on from here in this very episode. So a little wordy, a little chatterbox, a little free of consciousness flow through of verbiage right here. But that's the way it goes from time to time. But there it is. So Hard to Say Goodbye. Spring Cleaning Edition, part 27. I got part 28 probably coming pretty soon. I got another idea for that. Something else a lot of us struggle with if you're like me. I might film that as well here shortly. So be on the lookout for part 28 coming fast at you. And hopefully I can get this collection all done. And maybe I'll do a collector's tour. I said I'd never do another one, but maybe I will. Maybe not this year. Maybe I'll surprise you. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Just stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that kind of fun stuff. Let me know what you're getting rid of. Can you relate to this at all? Rearranging your collection, loving stuff a little bit more, falling out of love with some stuff a little bit more. Let me know your thoughts on your That's So Hard to Say Goodbye. And what are you getting rid of anytime soon? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available every Tuesday, wherever podcasts are found. Video cast on YouTube, and you guys know Patreon YouTube channel membership is your best way to support the channel. Plenty of extra content over there every day. Check it out if you haven't already. So for That's So Hard to Say Goodbye, part 27, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?